Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome to the era of the Umayyad dynasty. The Umayyad Caliphate was the seventh largest empire in the history of mankind, was founded by Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan in the 661 Common Era, following the assassination of the righteous Caliph Ali bin Abi Talib. The Umayyads ruled from 661 Common Era to 750 Common Era. There are some notable Umayyad caliphs, including Abdul al-Malik, which is known for administrative reforms and building the Dome of the Rock; Al-Walid, the period of expansion and prosperity; Hisham ibn Abdul al-Malik, the last long-reigning Umayyad caliph under whom the empire faced growing internal challenges. The Umayyads ruled a vast, multicultural empire stretching from Spain in the west to parts of India in the east. Arabic was established as the administrative language unifying diverse peoples. The ruling class was mainly Arab Muslims, and non-Arabs had a lower social status, which caused social tensions. The society was predominantly agrarian, with urban centers growing due to trade and administrations. The Umayyads invested in infrastructure such as roads, irrigation, and cities, which aided economic development. The empire expanded significantly, incorporating North Africa, the Iberian Peninsula, which is known as Al-Andalus, Central Asia, and parts of India. This expansion opened access to diverse marine environments: the Mediterranean, Red Sea, Persian Gulf, and Atlantic coasts. The Umayyads set the stage for an Arab Golden Age that spread across 3 continents and ultimately turned Spain into the most advanced civilization in Europe.
During the Umayyad period, the development of Fiqh entered a new and dynamic phase. As the Islamic empire expanded rapidly, so did the number of people embracing Islam. These new Muslims came from diverse cultural, social, and linguistic backgrounds. Naturally, their custom and ways of life varied from one region to another. This diversity gave rise to new legal issues that had never been faced before. Scholars now had to resolve questions that were not explicitly addressed in the Quran or the Sunnah. As a result, they began engaging more frequently in ijtihad, and this led to a noticeable increase in both the number and variety of ijtihads being made. Firstly, the dispersion of scholars played a major role in this development. After the expansion of the Islamic territories, the Sahaba and their students, the Tabi'in, spread throughout the Muslim world. Whenever a distinguished scholar of fiqh emerged in a certain region, students and other scholars gathered around him. Over time, different centers of learning developed in various regions, each producing its own mazhab or legal school, and this led to differences of opinion in their ijtihad. Secondly, because scholars were scattered across the empire, the principle of ijma' became almost impossible to maintain. As a result, individual ijtihad became the norm. At the same time, the emergence of various sects within the Muslim community, such as the Shia and the Khawarij, further increased diversity in legal reasoning. Thirdly, different regions came to follow different methodologies in resolving legal issues. For instance, the people of Medina followed the teachings of prominent companions such as Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Abbas, and his student Mujahid ibn Jabbar, and Tawus ibn Kaisan. The people of Kufah, on the other hand, were influenced by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and his followers like Al-Kamah al-Nakai and Al-Aswad ibn Yazid. The people of Basrah drew from Abu Musa al-Sha'ari, Amalin ibn Anas, and Muhammad ibn Sirin. In Asham, people follow Mu'az ibn Jabal, Ubadah ibn Asamin, and his students such as Abu Idris al-Khawlani and Umar ibn Abdul al-Aziz. Meanwhile, in Egypt, the influence of Abdullah ibn Amman al-As was particularly strong. Later in this period, prominent scholars like Abu Hanifah and Sufyan al-Thawri rose to prominence in Kufah, Malik ibn Anas in Madinah, Al-Azwa'i in Beirut, and Ala ibn Sa'id in Egypt. Furthermore, as the need for guidance grew, the spread of hadith narration also happened along the way. Since there was not yet any systematic compilation of the Sunnah, scholars laboured extensively in search of reliable narrations handed down by the companions and their students. This had both positive and negative effects. On the positive side, the widespread circulation of the hadith helped scholars base their rulings more directly on the Prophet's teaching However, the negative side was serious, as displayed witness the rest of fabricated hadiths, such as false sayings and actions possibly attributed to the Prophet. To gain credibility, these fabricators often mix false reports with true ones, creating great confusion. This forced scholars to spend more time verifying each narration before using it in legal reasoning. Sometimes junior hadith were even rejected by the cautious scholars bila came to narrators menonton and fabricated other reports. This situation ultimately slowed down the process of issuing legal rulings but also prompted the development of the science of hadith criticism. Scholars began to lay down strict conditions for accepting a hadith, and soon hadith were compiled as systematically. Lastly, the emergence of two schools, which are Madrasah al-Hadith and Madrasah al-Ireen. During this period, two distinct approaches to fiqh became clearly defined. The first approach emphasized strict adherence to the textual sources, which are the Quran and authentic hadith, and avoided extending beyond them. This was known as the Madrasah al-Hadith. It centered in Madinah. Its followers were inspired by companions such as Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, Zubair ibn al-Awwam, and Abdullah ibn Abbas. The second approach was more open to reasoning and analogy. This was the Madrasah al-Ireen, which flourished in Kufa, Iraq. The approach rooted in the method of Umar ibn al-Khattab and Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, both of whom used rational judgment when necessary. Their method was continued by Akama an-Nakai, Punta Ibrahim an-Nakai, the teacher of Hamad ibn Abu Sulaiman, who interned by Imam Abu Hanifah. Together, they laid the foundation for the later formation of the well-known mazhab that emerged during the Abbasid period. During the Umayyad era, the development of it was shaped by several key forces: the expansion of the Muslim world, the dispersion of scholars, the spread and the fabrication of hadith, and the rise of two major schools of legal law. This development set the stage for the systematic codification of Islamic law that would follow in the Abbasid period.
The Umayyad era, spanning from 661 to 750 Common Era, was a defining period in the historical evolution of Islamic jurisprudence or fiqh. As the Islamic Empire expanded rapidly, new challenges emerged that shaped the formation of Islamic legal tools. This documentary explores the critical issues and challenges that influenced fiqh development during this transformative time. The Umayyad Caliphate centralized political power, often contradicting earlier Islamic principles. The Caliphate hereditary kingship, reduction of shura, consultation, and introduction of novel practices like music and dancing at the court sparked tension between rulers and scholars. With the rapid geographical expansion, the Muslim community became more culturally diverse, introducing various customs and social complexities. This diversity created pressing fiqh issues as existing legal frameworks needed adaptation to new realities. Central to fiqh development were two opposing scholarly methodologies, al-Hadith and al-Ra'i. Al-Hadith, dominant in the Hijaz region, emphasized strict adherence to the Quran and authenticated hadiths, avoiding personal reasoning or analogical deductions unless absolutely necessary. These school's notable scholars included Malik ibn Anas, ibn al-Jarud, and Ahmad ibn Hanbal. They prized textual fidelity and the preservation of prophetic traditions. Conversely, al-Ra'i, prevalent in Iraq and other diverse provinces, utilized Ra'i, rational discretion, and qiyas, analogical reasoning, to address complex issues beyond explicit primary texts. Key figures included Abu Hanifa and al-Shafi'i, who developed systematic methods to integrate reason with revelation.
The differing geographic, social, and educational backgrounds of scholars contributed greatly to these methodological divides. The Ahl al-Hadith scholars emerged from the stable Hadith-rich Hijaz, where many prophets' companions lived, offering them direct access to reliable transmitted knowledge. This context fostered a conservative approach, focusing on textual evidence and transmitted reports. In contrast, the Iraq region was culturally and ethnically diverse, housing former Persian and Byzantine populations with established legal traditions. Such heterogeneity demanded flexibility, compelling scholars like Abu Hanifa to emphasize reasoned opinion and public welfare to adapt the law. The interaction and sometimes tension between these madrasas led to varied legal opinions and rulings. One notable disagreement was over the acceptance and weight of hadith. Ahl al-Hadith accepted only rigorously authenticate traditions, while Ahl al-Ra'i allowed greater use of juristic discretion when valid hadiths were scarce. For example, on the issue of triple divorce, Imam Malik initially regarded it as 3 separate pronouncements, while Abu Hanifa and later al-Shafi'i interpreted it as a single pronouncement repeated thrice, indicating flexibility in legal interpretation. Other fiqh rulings, such as the conditions for prayer times, inheritance rights, and contractual obligations, show how Umayyad-era jurists applied both textual sources and reasoned opinion to regulate the expanding Islamic society. Beyond scholarly differences, several other factors shaped fiqh's evolution during the Umayyad era. The Umayyad rulers often pursued political ambitions indifferent to Islamic legal principles, causing many scholars to distance themselves from the courts, fragmenting legal authority. The rise of sectarian groups like the Khawarij and Shia intensified contradictions in legal thought, fueling disputes over authority and interpretation. Despite these challenges, growing Muslim populations required jurists to engage in ijtihad, independent reasoning, to address novel social and legal issues not clearly resolved by textual sources. The Umayyad era, marked by tension and transformation, was crucial in shaping Islamic jurisprudence. The interplay between Ahl al-Hadith's textual fidelity and Ahl al-Ra'i rational pragmatism laid the groundwork for the later established legal schools. This dynamic interaction continues to influence Islamic legal thought today.
Each issue that once divided scholars, the struggle between textual literalism and rational interpretation, the diversity of new societies, and the fragmentation of authority ultimately enriched fiqh. It pushed jurists to codify principles, authenticate hadith, and embrace ijtihad as a tool for Nuha. The Umayyad era marked a turning point in the evolution of Islamic jurisprudence. Despite the political pressures, rapid territorial expansion, and the diversity of new cultures, these challenges became the driving force behind the growth of fiqh. Scholars rose above the instability of the time to preserve the integrity of Islamic law, refining methods of interpretation and laying the foundation for future schools of thought. What began as scattered efforts to address emerging issues eventually shaped a structured and dynamic legal tradition, one that continues to guide and inspire generations of Muslims until today. Those scholars learned to balance revelation with reasoning, showing that Islam was never meant to be rigid or unchanging. Instead, it is a religion built on understanding, context, and compassion, one that allows people to apply timeless principles in different societies and eras. Through their debates, they taught us that faith and intellect can coexist, that divine law can guide people through any age as long as it is interpreted with wisdom and sincerity. This harmony between revelation and reason continues to guide rulings in a modern world. For example, when medical science introduced organ transplants, something unimaginable to early jurists, scholars applied the same principles refined centuries ago. Through ijtihad and maqasid al-sharia, we determined that saving a life fulfills one of Islam's highest objectives. What was once a new ethical dilemma found its answer in enduring values, proving that Islamic law is not rigid but compassionate, dynamic, and deeply human. The challenges of the Umayyad era became the roots of resilience, shaping fiqh into a living tradition that continues to evolve with time, guiding the Muslim world through every age. A law born from revelation, refined through reason, and sustained by faith, forever balancing the divine and the human.